What the heck is going on, everybody? Lunchtime here, bringing you the best class setups in the Modern Warfare 2 beta. At the time of uploading this video, the beta is open to all platforms. So regardless of what platform you're on or whether or not you've pre-ordered the game, you can download and play the beta. So I figured now would be a great time to make a class setups video for both people that have leveled up the guns and people that are newer to the game that haven't leveled up the guns. And for those that are just hopping on the beta, I'll also tell you how to unlock the SMGs and the different attachments that are a little more confusing to figure out how to unlock. If you guys enjoy this content, be sure to let me know with a like or a sub down below. Expect a lot more videos like this leading into Modern Warfare 2. I'm going to start with my current class setups. If you're a newer player and want to skip to the beginning class setups, I'll put a timestamp on the video right now and y'all can skip ahead to there. But anyways, I'm going to start with my M4 class setup here. I've worked around with a bunch of different ones and this is the one that I found has worked best. I'm going to hide my camera from here until the rest of the video so that we can see the full attachments on the screen. This class for me has been the perfect mixture between ability to beam across the map while not having too much of a hindrance in terms of the sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. The Tempest high tower barrel in order to get that bullet velocity and damage range. The Force Tac Castle Comp for the horizontal and vertical recoil control. The Ripper underbarrel, this one has been beyond worth it for this class and especially for the Hurricane. Make sure you unlock the Ripper underbarrel because it is absolutely insane. And I'll go into how to do that a little bit later. The stock, we are rocking the Tempest P80 Strike stock. This improves the aim down sight speed, some sprint speed, and the strafing speed without as crazy of a decrease in the recoil control and aiming stability like you see with the no stock. This is a healthy middle ground, keeps the gun from bouncing around too much, but keeps it fast at the same time. In a similar vein, we have the Phantom grip for the sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. And I haven't had too much of a problem with the recoil control after putting this on. Try this class out. Trust me on these attachments, you guys will not regret it. It is absolutely gross. Now, you'll see that I have the shotgun as the secondary. There is an absolutely overpowered one-shot pistol that you guys may or may not have seen yet, and that's why I have the shotgun as a secondary. It doesn't actually show up in the game. To do that, then I'll probably make a separate video on exactly how, but I'll show you a quick clip here. You're going to change the perk package to have any perk package that has overkill on it, like so. Once you choose the perk package with overkill, I'm not going to do it because it's going to mess up my class here. Once you choose the perk package with overkill and have a primary weapon on the secondary class, you're going to go to another loadout that has that same exact perk package. And then you're going to go into the perk package, edit it, and then change the overkill to a different perk that's other than overkill. Once that happens, that primary weapon will show up as a secondary on a class that doesn't have overkill, and that's when you know that you've done it right. Kind of confusing. I'll have a whole video on how to do that a little bit later, and I'll go a little bit more in depth, but for now we're focusing on the class setups. That's just the reason why I have all these secondary weapons on a class that doesn't have overkill. For the rest of the class, I'm using the Stim Shot and the Simtex. I've had the best of luck with these. The drill charges actually seem to be pretty overpowered, but I've just been sticking with the Simtex for now. For perk package, I hate getting stunned and flash, so this has been my perk package recently. Battle hardened and double time, so we're getting there fast. Quick fix for the first perk, and then ghost for the later one to stay off the minimap. And then quick fix just to essentially be like a stim shot when you have that perk unlocked later on. And then dead silence for the field upgrade just to stay out of people's ears. That's my M4 class. The tactical lethal perk package and field upgrade will stay about the same. Same thing with the secondary as well. With most of these other classes, I will have another primary weapon in the secondary slot, but that will show up as the pistol like I said earlier. Now the scar is gross. I'm going to make a video on that too. You're not able to change the attachments quite yet, but hopefully at a later date they'll be able to add that, and definitely when the full game comes out, of course, you'll be able to do so. But once you reach level 30, you'll unlock the scar, and you definitely have to use it because it's freaking gross. That's the class that I'm using there. Now the FSS Hurricane, this is my favorite SMG. I've already made a video on it, but I have changed up my class a little bit since making that video. For the Hurricane class, what we have right here, we have the Cannonade barrel to increase the damage range, bullet velocity, so on and so forth. We have the Razor Comp muzzle to make it more accurate. Like I said earlier with that M4 class, the Ripper underbarrel literally changes the gun entirely. It makes it incredibly accurate, and it doesn't make it too slow in terms of the aim down sight speed. I'm using the Phantom grip for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed, and then the Demo Fade Pro Stock for recoil control. It might be worth it to try some of these attachments that involve increasing the speed, but for now, this just makes it too accurate at range, and I'm really enjoying this class. It says that I have the sub as a secondary, but like I've said previously, I just have the overpowered pistol there. Now, to get the Ripper underbarrel that we've been talking about, you actually have to use a class with a Lotman 7.62, which is a battle rifle. In terms of that weapons progression, starts here at the 7.62. This is also how you unlock the SMG. I have done it previously through a glitch, but through the 7.62, as you can see here, you will unlock the Forged Tac Ripper, and for whatever reason you can use that from weapon to weapon, which is how we're able to use that on the Hurricane, on the M4, so on and so forth. So make sure that you're leveling up both guns to get that attachment, I promise you it's worth it. Now that we're done with that Hurricane class, we're going to get into the MP5, aka the Lockman sub. For the class, we're using the F-Tac barrel to get that bullet velocity damage range per usual, the Razor Comp muzzle in order to get the horizontal and vertical recoil control. Some people have messed around with using the pineapple grip. For hip fire, this is absolutely overpowered. If you're somebody who likes to hip fire, you should definitely use this. I've had better luck with the lock grip precision as of late, but I definitely go back and forth between these two. And I believe you actually unlock the pineapple grip from using the LMG over here on the M4 tree, the 5.56 Icarus. Yeah, there's the pineapple grip. So if you want that grip, you actually have to level up the LMG on the other tree. It's super confusing, but it probably makes sense to some extent. I just don't quite get it yet. I don't really use a rear grip because I don't like the negatives at the aim walking movement speed. However, I think today I'm gonna see if I can unlock this Lockman 10 to see if that'll help with the recoil control. I imagine once you have that unlocked, it should be a little bit better. Give that a go. I'm using no stock for the stock just to keep it nice and fast, and that's class there. Sometimes I'll mess around with putting the hollow point on, but because I don't consistently do that, I kept that off of my main class here, just rocking the 4 attachments. And that is it for my MP5 class. And now I figured I'd throw this in there. The most fun class that I've used so far on the beta is Overkill with the sniper and that same Lockman subclass from earlier. Being able to have both close and long range, especially on maps like the museum, is a ton of fun. Give this one a try. So those are my classes for the Modern Warfare 2 beta. For those of you that have the guns unlocked and leveled up, what I'm going to do now is go a little bit more in depth on the lower level classes, what I would use for those in terms of attachments. But before we get into the class setups for the lower level or the beginner players that are just hopping on the beta, we need to talk about weapon progression tree and how to unlock the weapons that you're going to be using classes for in the first place. So we'll start with my M4 class here. When you go to Gunsmith and tab over to progression, you'll see these weapon trees here. The Hurricane is the best SMG in the game right now, in my opinion. So from here, it looks kind of confusing, but if you click on the M4 and scroll over, I'll hide my camera here, to level 13, you see that it goes down below to unlock the F-Tac Recon. Same thing here as you scroll down. Once you get to level 16, you unlock the FSS Hurricane. So basically you have to level up the M4 until you get the attachment that allows you to get the Recon, until you get the attachment that allows you to unlock the Hurricane. If I were to be just starting the beta today, the very first thing I would do would be that exact progression. Level the M4, level the Recon, and then get that Hurricane. The Hurricane is too good to be missing out on right now. In a similar vein, if you want to be using the MP5, you would use the Lockman 762 until you get to level 13, which would unlock the Lockman 5.56. You would use that until you're level 12 in that gun to get the Lockman sub, which is the MP5. Long story short, if there's a weapon you want to unlock, you have to go to that tree like we talked about earlier, and then kind of look through the ways to unlock that. Now that that's over and done with, we're going to talk M4. For those of you that are tuning in at this point of the video, my perk package is this one as follows. I add Battle Harden and Double Time, with Quick Fix and Ghost being the ones that I unlock later on. I'll hide my camera so you can see Ghost right there. The way you edit the perk package is just by pressing square, edit perks, and then you can change these as you see fit. Dead Silence, y'all will unlock this later on, but when you're choosing the class, I'll go over here to create a loadout. If you choose the Stalker loadout, it'll give you Dead Silence in the first place. I'll hide my camera again so you can see that. And then you just add whatever weapons and attachments you want on top of that. Now, early on in the weapon progression, what you're going to unlock is the TH54 barrel, as well as a couple other attachments. I wouldn't really add too much of them until later on because those barrels put a reduction in the bullet velocity. I would wait until you have the Tempest High Tower barrel, which you unlock at level 15 of the weapon, as you can see right here. So early on, another important one to use would be the Shark Fin barrel. You unlock it pretty early on. It doesn't really have any downsides and it increases your aim stability. I wouldn't really mess with any barrels until you have the Forged Tack Castle Comp or the Razor Comp, which you actually unlock in the Hurricane progression tree. And the Forged Tack you unlock in the 5.56 tree. Now for the rest of the attachments for the low level M4, over here at the rear grip, I would use the Seiken grip, which you unlock pretty early on, as well as the no stock, which you unlock pretty soon after using the M4. If you want to throw an optic on before you get the muzzle, I like the Cronin red dot, but the gun actually works just fine without an optic. Now let's move on to the Lockman sub. My beginner SMG loadout will be as follows. We're going to use the F-Tac sub 12 to get that bullet velocity. You unlock this very early on in using the MP5, so it won't take very long at all. For the muzzle, the Razor Comp, or you could even use the Lock Shot, which is unlocked very early on in the MP5 as well, I think around level 11. For the underbarrel, we're going Lock Grip Precision with no stock for the stock. I've been using the Cronus grip. Try this class out. Let me know what you think. This gun is actually nuts. The gun actually performs really well without any attachments at all. So at least in terms of the MP5, you don't have to necessarily worry about doing too much. The gun standalone shoots pretty straight and does a good bit of damage too. And now for my favorite, we're going to talk Hurricane. For a low level class, I'd use the Cannonade barrel, which you unlock at level 7 in this gun. If you've leveled up the MP5, the lock grip is just fine. Shark Fin also works just okay. Whichever muzzle you have that helps the horizontal and vertical recoil control, if you have it unlocked, use that. Rear grip, you should have the second grip unlocked from earlier. And then the Demo Fade Pro stock, which should be unlocked already because you've leveled up the M4 to get here. You might have to go a couple extra levels on the M4 to get that, but it's worth it in the long run because that's actually the stock that I use for my high level Hurricane class. Perk packs just stay the same. Early on, definitely use the flash grenade, and then whatever lethal you have should work just fine. And then, like I said earlier, to get that dead silence, use the auto pistol, not the X12. The auto pistol's gross. And yeah, that is pretty much it for my low level and high level classes for the Modern Warfare 2 beta. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you learned something or if I helped you out at all, let me know with a like or a sub down below. And I will catch you guys next time at lunchtime.